live. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Asia now is live. Ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba, boom. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Asia now is live. Oh, cool. Ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba, boom. Awesome. Alrighty then. Let's get going. What's up? What's up? What's up? I see the chat is live also, so that's great. Hey, everyone, says hello. Boom, boom, ba, ba, boom. Awesome. Let's see if we get like then. Let's get going. What's up? What's up? I see the chat is live also, so that's great. Hey, everyone, says hello. Boom, boom, ba, ba, boom. Awesome. Let's see if we get like then. Let's get going. Hey, everyone. I don't know. You have to hear me. I see me write the comment section. Awesome. Let's see if we get then. Let's get going. Hey, everyone. I don't know. You have to hear me. I see me write the comment section. Awesome. Let's see if we get then. Let's get going. Yet. Okay. All right. Let me start that again. Is there sound now? I'm having seizures now. Oh no. I hope you're not serious. No sound. Thank you guys. So see, this is why it's important to interact with the live. This is no sound. Okay. All right. Right. Let me start that again. Cool. Is there sound now? I'm having seizures now. Tech and Colleen's here. Hello, Colleen. No sound. Thank you. Perfect. So see, this is why it's important. I ordered myself interact with the live. What do you call that? A video card reader, so I can connect my actual camera instead of using this laptop camera. All right. And to have start that again. Is there sound now? I'm having seizures now. And Colleen's here. Hello, Colleen. No sound. Thank you. Perfect. So see, this is why it's important. I ordered myself interact with the live. What do you call that? A video card reader, so I can. Weird. I don't know if you guys are you guys hearing an echo? How about now? Is there an echo coming from this laptop? Why is this problematic every time? I think it's because when I'm by myself, I'm not talking to anybody, right? So I feel like the audio is fine. But when I start talking to you guys, the sound coming from me, but I have the laptop muted, which is so weird. So echo and feedback like you have two mics. Okay, exactly. So there's only one mic I've selected on this streaming app, so it's kind of strange to have two mics. What about now? Now you are good. Echo gone. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Excellent. Okay, so let's get back into it. In this video, we'll talk about four fugitives arrested in the Philippines. Why are Filipinos furious about the 500 peso Buena Noche or Noche Buena dinner, the Christmas Eve dinner, a Filipino custom? People are furious with some official that said you can basically have that for 500 pesos. And everyone's like, oh, you're completely out of touch. And a lot of people are just furious, which sparked the whole internet to just start making videos, memes, challenges. It's just gone completely wild with that comments. And then they doubled down and said, oh, we can do it. You know, you still do it. So I think it's a clear disconnect between whoever's in charge of that department and the reality of the Philippines and Filipino people. And we'll get into a bit more of that. And also an uproar over government slow response in flood situation in Thailand, where the prime minister also went there. But unlike Thai people, they were not happy to see him there. Very different there. And over 30 cancellation with Cebu Pacific because of some Airbus recall technical issue. Okay, so thank you guys. I appreciate your commenting about everything's good now. Those shrooms are killing me. So Cole Paul is having a seizure because he's having shrooms. Need more volume, huh? For realsies? I think at this point, until I can get the external mic working, this is the best volume we can do. So I'm gonna have to ask you to just turn up your volume as much as you can, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm gonna work on this. I've been working on it all weekend, but I ordered stuff online. I went to the store. I had my whole setup. Sounded okay, but I do appreciate the feedback. So don't touch anything. Turn your ears up. Yeah, my ears up. Swallow my ears. Turn my headphones up. Turn up my snare. All right, so let's get into it. Now let's try something else. Let's see if we can go ahead and share my screen. It's gonna be fun. So now screen sharing time. Display. Let's select default. Okay. Question. Can you guys see this Facebook page from the Inquirer? I'm looking at it on my screen. Are you guys able to see that? Yes or no? Can you see the Inquirer page right now? Huh? Can you see it? I guess not. Weird. How about window match priority capture method? Window Inquirer. So yesterday I talked about the Philippines Land Transportation Office is going to ban e-bikes and e-trikes on major roads. But now there's a controversy because since they're not registered, right? The Land Transportation Office and the LTO cannot just impound electric bicycles or e-bikes and electric tricycles, as the agency has no jurisdiction over vehicles that are not registered with it. So yeah, obviously. So Senator Party Representative Terry Redon said in a statement on Friday, which they're right. Like why would that agency be able to confiscate vehicles if they're not even registered with it? But then again, I mean, I'm sure you don't need certain registration to say you're breaking the law as the officials. So what do you guys think of that? I know a lot of people like the e-bikes and e-trikes, but if you live in the Philippines and you drive or even just are on the roads, you know they're problematic, right? So, which is crazy to me. I don't have obviously any what do you call any feelings towards that because I don't ride a tricycle, obviously. I mean, they're fun to be honest because you don't have to worry about being balanced and you just have a little bit more protection if you're sitting on a tricycle. But yeah, it'd be fun to ride a tricycle. Okay, well, that's that. Yeah, that's the thing, Colleen, because these bikes and trikes aren't like I think they just don't have enough power or whatever the reason is. It's like a scooter, right? Certain countries and cities or whatever, you don't need to register a scooter, and but certain places you do. So right now, the way the government is set up and the laws and the rules in the Philippines, you're not required to register those e-bikes and e-trikes because they fall, I assume, under a certain amount of power. You can't go certain speeds, so they're basically not cars or vehicles in that sense. And I'm sure when the laws were made, they hadn't taken in consideration some of these things. Now that I think the law is just behind, why not just change the law itself to include bikes and trucks as part of the registration? But things are slow the way they are in the Philippines, so maybe they just know they can't handle the volume of registration application that might come to take years to even process them. Those are just my assumptions. Um, Elite PC Tech says Tricy, both electric and gas, are slow. They are. They're slow, and I think that's what the argument might be. Like these are not going fast enough to cause problem. But the problem isn't from the speed of the vehicles, it's actually the opposite. The problem comes from the lack of speed of these things. So, you know, what is up with that? I don't know. But that's something that's going on. Let's get into this Buena Noche, Noche Buena. I don't speak Spanish. I'm not from Philippines. I think it's called Noche Buena. It's the Christmas Eve dinner, like a special dinner between the family. So the official came out and said that you can have a one of those dinners for 500 pesos, and the internet lost its shit. All the people are just gone wild. All the Filipinos got millions and millions of like reactions. People just not happy and saying this lady is clearly not in touch with reality. You can't be buying a dinner for family with just 500 pesos. But then she doubled down and brought a whole chart and a pricing list. You could buy a ham and spaghetti and have macaroni salad even, just like pasta and mayo. Nasty. I think macaroni salad is disgusting. My personal opinion. But just those two ingredients. But so then it just became a whole shit show, and then even to the president's office has to step in and say stuff about it. Oh well, she meant like a family of four, thinking there's two kids and two adults, and it keeps like snowballing into people just digging themselves deeper into this comment. I actually released their whole statement yesterday on Asia Now. So that's that. That's why people are upset because they're saying you cannot afford that a family of four on just 500 pesos, especially because nobody really eats like macaroni or just plain spaghetti on that special dinner. It's supposed to be something nice. So that is what that whole situation is about. If you're wondering what's going on with all that Noche Buena dinner. A Fireblazer says only registered vehicles should be allowed on the road. That's a good point because then how can you hold anybody accountable, right? And how do you prevent safety issues like it's not just the speed. Yeah, they're slow, but they're causing delays in traffic. They are just getting in the way. And if they're not registered, that means you don't need to have a license. So you don't know who's operating it. Can they even drive on the road? Do they know the rules and the laws? You know, how many times? Actually, yesterday I watched a video of a lady almost getting hit by a car on a zebra crossing because the trike wouldn't slow down. It was actually an e-bike, ironically. I will play the video, but apparently my share screen is not cooperating because I should be able to share my screen with this window capture. For example, if I go to this, right, right, and this, like you should be able to see it. Like technically speaking, I'm doing all the things right. I thought I knew how to operate this, but apparently not. So, okay. No, let's do inquire. Like you should be able to see this on your screen, but I'm on the live as well right now, and I don't see it. But yeah, so that's that. The lady got hit almost with a zebra crossing because the tricycle wouldn't slow down. Like in the Philippines and just all over Southeast Asia, you can't simply rely on the zebra crossing, right? Because people should stop, but they don't. And it looked like the trike saw her last second and swerved too quickly and it flipped over. And there was a woman inside there, like a passenger. So all this stuff, it's frustrating. So it's not just about the speed of these vehicles; it's a lot more than just that. Let's get into the four fugitives that were caught. It's basically four Chinese, Korean, and one, I believe, Indian. I don't have the article in front of me, but they got arrested because there was red notice warrants from their own countries. So in the Philippines, it's not just the Philippines government you have to worry about. Obviously, don't commit any crimes, but if you commit a crime back in your home country, a lot of times they can also follow you because now I think there's been a stronger push from immigration to have better communication with Interpol and other agencies in case people run away from the country and they think they can hide in the Philippines. So just a little heads up for all of us criminals watching this live stream, as if you needed my tip or advice. If you're gonna do that kind of stuff, me saying be aware is not gonna change your behavior, I assume, right? Okay, let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. And actually, we just did the meat and potatoes. Let's get some of your comments. Is what I'm trying to say. What are we doing? Drives me crazy to be stuck behind on the road. Yeah, there's one idiot in my town that drives in the middle of the road during rush hour. Yeah, but you know why? Because nobody told him you're supposed to drive on the right side of the lane or on your own lane, for example, not onto oncoming traffic. And this is the problem with these, like, what do you call it? With not being registered, because it means they may not have even been to, like in Canada, for example, you have to go. You don't have to take lessons as far as professional lessons, but you have to pass a test, of course. And on that test, you have to be aware of the driving rules and stuff. So you get a booklet, you read it, you study it, and then you go ahead and pass that test, and then you can do your driving test, right? So obviously, I'm not saying the Philippines should be exactly like Canada. My point is, like, everybody that's on the road usually has the same kind of idea of what you should or should not do, and they follow the same kind of guidelines. But in the Philippines, it feels like people are just like driving with common sense to their ability. They think, okay, I'm in the middle of the road, which means I have more road for myself, but they're not thinking about oncoming traffic, people behind you, when you should turn, not turn. Can you make a U-turn here? Should you make a U-turn? Can you read the sign? There was one time, actually, I was wondering why so many of the delivery drivers were calling me before the drop off of my food or my package. And I'm like, buddy, just follow the map, read the map. Then it kind of hit me. Maybe that person doesn't really know how to read. You know what I mean? Just because the app is in English, first of all, maybe they just like an older person and they just didn't get proper education, and simple reading and writing may not be in their repertoire. So I'm like, I guess I shan't just assume that everyone is like in the same level as me or anybody else, for example. So that was kind of interesting from my perspective. So yeah, that's that. Um, yeah, so we're just gonna get through this. I'm gonna do this which this thing which I'm gonna take this live stream and then upload it as a video to see if that makes a difference in my YouTube stuff. But I'm just doing this basically as a test run. This one and the next one, and of course I come a bit more prepared with stories and the ability to share my screen and whatnot. Right now, currently in Thailand, and it's chilly for the first time in my life. I've been coming here for the past 12 years. I've never felt Bangkok to be this chilly. And when I say chilly, I mean like 17 to 27 degrees. So that's like cool. 17 degrees, 16 degrees in the morning. I'm like, wow, this is new and unique. Wouldn't that be paradise for me personally if Southeast Asia's humidity reduced and I was just living life under 17 degrees? That would be great for me. So we talked about we kind of briefly touched on the fugitives. They didn't say the specification of why they're wanted, but they just wanted in their home country. But I want to talk about the flights that were canceled. So some kind of Airbus issue going around in the Philippines regarding Airbus. I'm going to put this over here so you guys don't have to. So over 30 canceled during the Airbus software order. Okay, Cebu Pacific announced the cancellation of multiple domestic flights on Saturday, November 29th, after Airbus issued a mandatory software update for its A320 family aircraft, a directive affecting thousands of jets worldwide. Airbus urged Airbus's urgent global recall of about 6,000 family aircraft came following an American airline experienced a sudden, uncommanded altitude drop on October 30th that injured passengers. The investigation pointed to solar radiation corruption data used by the jet's flight control computers to ensure safety. All affected planes must revert to an earlier, more stable software version before flying again, a process that typically takes about 2 hours per aircraft. That's why Cebu Pacific said its operations and engineering team are working to implement the software fixes. So by now it's been fixed. I guess a little bit delayed. This being November 30th, and this happened yesterday. Yeah, a lot of flights canceled, specifically from Manila to Cataclan and Manila to Cebu, Iloilo, all the major airports around Cebu. Let me know if you're affected by this cancellation, over 30 flights. Kind of crazy that software can do that, right? But I guess it makes sense. You try to improve, and then there might be a glitch or something, but I assume there's safety protocols for that. They kind of run these before they release the launch and the upgrade. But yeah, I can't say nothing because people are amazing. People that can even come up with, oh, oh, oh. I can't do it because I got to show you the picture. You know what? I don't have to show you a picture. I have a crazy story regarding two expats, and I want to know your thoughts on it because people are divided onto who is in the right, who is not in the right. So I'm going to explain to you guys based off just reading what happened on social media, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of this story because people are kind of divided between. So somebody on Facebook posted saying that, oh, another creeper, this is not a dating site, so why do people do this? Something like that. From the looks of it, it looks like the original post comes from someone that organizes events. So during this event, they take pictures saying, hey, look at us. Imagine like a meetup. Imagine I had like a little bit of a meetup. I had some people and there was pictures taken, and somebody on Facebook saw one of these pictures and was curious about one of the women that was in one of these pictures, and they contacted me. Not me personally, but the guy in the story. So they say, hello, can you please tell me about this lady? And they sent a picture of the lady to the group owner, right? And then the group owner says, no, taken. This is not a dating app. If you seek out info of people, girlfriend or wives, you will be expelled. And the person responded, wow, I simply asked the question because I don't believe I met her. I believe I met her 7 years ago. She is taken, the guy responds. Someone else asked and we moved him on that. That guy also sent messages to my wife. Got it? And the other guy says, oh, I'm not sure why you think I'm like insinuating some kind of stalker or pervert. So let's me school you a little bit. I worked with the PNP Philippine National Army for many years, cross-training them in urban warfare. I have a professional background in cage fighting. Okay, good for you, bro. And what? And I've spent dinners with Manny Pacquiao and the generals at the gym. So I'm not your fly-by-the-night asshole. And then the owner responds, I never said you were, but what would you do in my position? And the guy responds, I was long ago in that country and actually I'm trying to find a place called home. Buddy, first of all, fucking type properly, man. You make me sound like an idiot. But anyways, so that's what happened. Now, people are saying, what's the big deal, right? This guy's asking a question about a girl. But some people are saying, no, that's creepy. And where do you guys stand on this, given what you know? I'm curious to know your opinions before I share mine. Do you think that guy is a creep inquiring about a woman in a photo from the group owner? Or do you think the group owner overreacted and should have simply said, oh, she's married, or no, sorry, I can't divulge that kind of information or anything like that? So I'd love to know your thoughts because I think that's kind of cool. I'm going to read some comments, but please feel free to share your opinions of who's in the right in that conversation. While doing that, if you're new to the channel, I usually share news about Philippines, Thailand, other parts of Asia. Feel free to double click your phone screen for a like or click the like button so we get some more eyes on this live stream. That would be great. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of these comments. Hey, far from home. Good morning, Alex and viewers. Hello, I will trade you. It is -3 and snow here. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Uh, in Louisiana, right? And somewhere down there. Yikes, that's crazy. Why do you choose the Philippines over Thailand? For me personally, the reason why I chose the Philippines over Thailand to make my home base, which I'm not really sure if I'll continue doing that, but that's what I've done for the past 7 years, based out of Cebu, is first of all, when I first went there, I was never welcomed like that anywhere. The people were super friendly. Everybody spoke English. That's a major thing. Of course, not the only thing because I don't have any language barrier problems. But so first of all, the people were super friendly, smiled everywhere. I was able to joke and be myself. I was seen. I was respected. I still am. So those things all. The visa situation super easy. I can stay up to 3 years without leaving the country, and I just kind of got stuck there for 9 months because of COVID as well. So I just start to see different things that maybe a 2 week traveler wouldn't see. I'm not gonna tell you it's the perfect place to live, but that's why I stayed there. And then also my YouTube channel really took off. So my other channel, Living Abroad, really blew up, and I was making good money from my YouTube videos, which caused me to basically make that my full time thing. And it just made sense. My work was there essentially, my street interviews and my regular interviews. So I stayed there. But now that I'm kind of moving away from going out there to do actual public soliciting of videos and just basically do reaction videos on Living Abroad to mainly Rafi Tofu and other videos involving foreigners in hopes of providing some kind of lesson for everybody. There's no need for me to physically be in the Philippines. And also, just yesterday, I saw them raise. Not that this matters to me. I don't really care. Of course, for $30 extra, I'm not gonna decide where to live. But when I got there, the express fee was 500 pesos, right? And it basically made it mandatory to get it. Now it's 2,000 pesos, which is like, huh? How do you get a 300% increase over a couple of years? But the thing that bothers me about that is like, make it consistent. This immigration should be like a major part of any tourism industry. And why is it that some people force you to get the express fee, some people don't? Some places it's 1,000, some places 2,000. So that kind of stuff is definitely not the reason why I'm considering other places. My point is like every little thing kind of adds up. So you just kind of like at some point you start getting a little bit stressed or don't have the same feelings towards stuff. The cost of living has gone up in the Philippines for sure. I've seen it's become much more not westernized, but I just don't feel like I'm in another country anymore. I feel like I'm just in Canada. If I'm living my own bubble because I have to, I need internet, I need to live somewhere modern, all this stuff. So it just slowly kind of, I've been traveling. If you guys don't know, I don't put it on YouTube, but I travel usually between 5 to 10 countries a year. So for me, I just want to, I'm not retired, right? So I just want to see different places. But those are some of the main initial reasons why I chose the Philippines. Wonderful people, it was good, relatively cost of living, easy to stay long term. English was there, and my YouTube channel, my main source of income. So that is that. Let's see if anybody talked about the two people and which ones they fall under. Colleen, a female, says, sounds innocent to me. Okay, great. Elite PC Tech, this crap didn't happen when corruptions hired Westerners trained. Okay, well, I'll read that later. But interested, I'm 26 American. Okay, I'll read okay, just one person. Not a big deal. So the whole thing about, personally, I think person to person is okay. For example, if I was like looking at just Facebook and I saw somebody attractive, and if I'm single and I think that person's single, so they're knowingly not in a relationship where they're taking pictures with a family or something, their husband and kids, I'm not going to message someone like that. But if I'm single and the person seems to be single, I think it's totally fine if they have their messaging open in public to send a message initially basically saying I'm interested in them. And a simple decline or no is fine and I'll move on. So I see why that's innocent for sure. But I think the problem is when you ask a third party about another person, that person doesn't know why you want to know their contact information. Are you a dangerous person? Are you their ex-boyfriend trying to find out their location? Also, it puts that person in a tough position, right? Because now you've involved them in something they may or may not want to be involved with. So I get it from that point. I think I understand both sides. It's totally innocent, an adult messaging another adult, showing interest. That's fine. But when you ask a group moderator or someone to organize something, information about somebody else, I think that becomes a little gray area, and I that guy should have responded differently. Say, sorry, I can't give you that information. That's it. But then it became a battle of like he just assuming he's a pervert. So that's the problem also. Like, buddy, I just asked about if you know her because I thought I recognized her 7 years ago. Because I've been in a position where I need to find somebody and I have to contact somebody else. So it was nothing. I had no ill intentions, right? So Elite PC Tech says part of the problem is that major corporations either hire H-1B visa programmers or outsource their programming to coding sweatshops in India. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all with all that. Sounds innocent to me. Yep, this crap didn't happen when corporations hired Westerners trained in Western universities to do coding. Compare today's code to past code produced by Margaret Hamilton and Steve Gibson. Yeah, so Elite PC Tech, I assume you know a lot more about coding than I do, given your name, and I don't disagree with that. But the problem is, like every other business on earth, you want to try to maximize profits. Therefore, outsourcing your code to some Indian mandim in the basement somewhere. But it is what it is. I think the government should step in if they have a problem with this kind of stuff and say we only hire people or companies that hire only Westerners. So, yep, if you want to make money from cheap labor, you're going to be given cheap product most of the time. Wiser Solution says, interesting. On 26 American have done Korea for 1 year, Japan for a year, now Bangkok for a year, traveled to most of Southeast Asia. Awesome. Been to those places, beautiful, of course. I live in Thailand, the best. Philippines, nice, but it seems lacking a lot. Some basic needs, lots of little cuts, definitely. The Philippines is not a place for comfort if you want to come and live not on a budget, but let's say, like for example, me, my budget is probably around 1.5 to 2K a month, but that's including everything, and I don't miss a meal. I don't try to save money. I don't do anything. I don't live lavishly, but I live very comfortably. Every day, I order delivery, food delivery. Not that I can't cook, but I'm saying like something like a coffee or just like popcorn or something random. I enjoy going through the apps and selecting stuff. I go out to eat all the stuff. I go traveling. Occasionally, I rent in a nice condo, has everything I need, and I still only pay like 1.5, usually even less than that a month. So I could do that here in Thailand, but not so easy in the Philippines. Thailand is more affordable for the Philippines. Like if you want to compare apples to apples, similar lifestyle and standards, Thailand is more affordable because you have way more options. So if you come out here, you won't believe the number of like Airbnbs available for you to choose from any kind of price range. Whereas in the Philippines, you basically have a couple of like condos you can like. I'm talking from Cebu City. You can name the condos. You know, you got Avita. What else is there? So my point is like so Avita. I forgot all of them now. Avita is the main one. Avita, Grand Residences. We're talking about what is it? Park Street. What's it called? 81 Park Street. Whatever that one. Sunrise, sun something. My point is like 20 to 30 condos maybe you can choose from, and then less competitive means more pricing and higher pricing for you guys. Elite PC Tech says coding issues and software errors are going to get worse when real programmers are replaced by AI writing code. Yeah, AI is great for a lot of things, but I've caught AI several times making obvious mistakes, and that's alarming to any user, especially if you're using AI to have like coding done that you're going to put into airplanes or something, right? So I understand with time the AI might get better, but it is one of those things where you just kind of like it's a scary situation to be in because we are still at the beginning of AI, and I can't imagine what AI capabilities are going to be like within 10, 20 years. Because compared to this AI generated videos like Sora to even something like 3 years ago, it's like a world of a difference. Like now it's difficult to even tell which videos are real and fake. And that's coming from me that's on the internet all the time. The only way you can tell it's fake now is because of the extreme like craziness of it. Like a cat playing the drums, it's not fake because the video looks fake. Because your mind knows a cat cannot play the drums, so you know it's fake. But the video quality, it shows the clear movements of a cat playing the drums, same posture, the right ratio of the body. So so it's getting really wild out there, for example. Yeah. Elite PC Tech says, sorry about the rant. I've seen way too many disasters due to our corporate overlords putting short term profit over reliability and safety. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I agree. I'm with you. If I could, if I had my way, I would pretty much stop AI from getting any further than what it is now, or at least the use of it from the way we use it now. Because imagine how much AI that we don't see that gets used or misused and causes so many different problems. What? A wise resolution says, I get scared to play with the chicks in the Philippines with the anti-violence against women or whatever it's called. Nah, that's overblown. I wouldn't be worried about it. If you're actually like not messing around with like shady people, nobody even knows or can't apply that law. If you just have common sense, don't like people that all these laws mostly are suggestions to behave. And if you're gonna misbehave, then someone can apply these laws to you essentially. But if you're just a normal person, I would not be worried about laws about the Philippines because the Philippines is still the easiest place to go ahead and find a date, like by far. So if you're having trouble dating the Philippines, then they're gonna have trouble anywhere. Like hands down, the easiest place to find a date for sure. It'll be up to you to go ahead and try to vet these people and try to find a like a partner that is compatible with you. But as far as like ease of dates, still the easiest place I've been to when it comes to dating women. Oh, says I've heard a lot of things too. But firstly, I've heard of dudes getting arrested for arguments, etc. Had to pay money for not to go to jail. Have you though? People like have you seen proof of it? People say all kinds of shit online. You know what I mean? Like even if like five people did it out of millions of people that come here, is that enough for like? Don't argue then. Don't get into like who's arguing as an adult these days. If I'm in a position where I'm arguing with a woman, I'm out of there, man. I mean, I don't got no patience for no like. That's why it's important to choose your woman properly and accordingly. Don't bring anybody to your place if you can't trust them enough to like they're not gonna put you to jail. You know. So I know I'm kind of downplaying what you're saying, but I think a lot of it comes from just like over negativity, right? Because being negative is catchy. You know, even myself, I put like the worst people on my title because I know people will be interested in that. Nobody's gonna give a shit if I said, "Oh, a cat saved in the water." It's evident in all my videos. Anytime I try to make a positive story, the main one, the views plummet drastically, right? So, you know, bad news sells, and these people you're only gonna hear about the bad stories. Essentially, no one's gonna tell you, "Hey, I had a great time with my wife yesterday," or "I had a wonderful day with my girlfriend. We went here and there." And you only hear only the bad things, so it kind of amplifies the reality. Um, I'll tell you guys a story. How about this? I'll tell you guys a story of a dating story if we hit my goal. Did I set a goal already? Should I set a goal? How do you do this? Okay, let's do 5 super chats. 5 times 5? 25 bucks, 30 bucks, something like that. I'll do it for an hour and then I'll share my crazy dating story. All right, guys, take a second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to hear my crazy dating story, you can help me reach my goal I just created. What's the goal? The goal is, let's say, 50 bucks. 3 super thanks or whatever number of super thanks. If we get to $50, I'll go ahead and share my dating story I have in the Philippines. If not, then all good. Then I save myself the embarrassment or whatever, my privacy, and that's that. Let's go back to some of those comments. Wise Resolution said, fair point. Thoughts on BGC versus Cebu? BGC was nice, but very bubbly. Big transition once you leave it. Yeah, the both those places are like BGC itself, IT Park, Ayala Business Park. Some of these places that are known for expats. Firstly, they're there because most of the nicer rental units are there. It's more central to whatever, and you just get better accommodation. Um, so yeah, most people tend to stay in these areas, especially those that are not like tied down to a relationship, a woman, or the job or something like that. And they are very bubbly. Outside of it, life changes dramatically, but you have to be aware of it. You can't, like, for example, you can't take the same mindset you live in BGC and just go like 10 kilometers either way and think you could have the same kind of experience. The place is still developing like heavily. Things are not going to work sometimes. Your living conditions aren't going to be excellent. The people you come across are not going to be as like affluent, perhaps. So they might be more inclined to either scam you or get something from you. So, but I feel like those are common sense things, right? I just feel like people sometimes need to remember, no matter how nice Filipinos are, there are still like desperate people, some bad apples in the mix. So you can't just assume every single person is one way or the other. So you got to be on your toes, man. Somebody approaches you, no woman is gonna approach you, not even in the Philippines. So when they do that, there's a reason for it. Like if you're that handsome, where a woman's walking up to you, you're probably not hanging around the Philippines. Let's just be honest. Unless you have a reason to be there, you're doing just fine wherever you are, and then like it's not gonna work out. So most people that come in the Philippines are either retired, looking to retire, middle age to older age gentlemen. So and at that point, you have to be realistic and understand no 20-year-old is going to walk up to a guy, no matter how handsome and nice guy you are. It's not reality. So when they come up to you, there's a reason. Either they're professional prostitutes, or they're looking to scam you some way or the other, or they're just trying to get information out of you. A lot of times, they ask a lot of personal questions. A lot of times you get asked, "Oh, who are you here with? Where are you staying?" You don't have to give them your condo name, bro. Just say at a hotel. Where? Say down there. What's the name? I don't know, right? Don't give out too much information. Don't people out here talking about how much money they make every month. Oh, I'm staying at this condo. It's nice because of the pool. All a person got to do is go through your Facebook. They know exactly where you live, how much money you make now. They just camp outside for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours. They're not going to come out, right? So you become an easy target. Even that is like over exaggerated. My point is like, why even like put yourself in a position where someone has information on you and they can use that for whatever reason. Yeah. So outside the BGC bubble, it's very difficult to live a comfortable life personally, just because of stuff I mentioned. I can't handle the humidity. I need internet for work. I can't eat the Filipino food like locals. Unfortunately, I don't have the palates for it, the stomach for it. Heavy use of pork and oils and such. I don't even eat pork. I'm not a big fan of fish, so it limits my options, right? Yeah, that's my life story. What are we talking about? I don't know. Let's go on. Ayo, Colleen, big ups, $10. Hey, look at that, 20% of our goal. Thank you, Colleen. I'll start. I appreciate that. Also, Colleen, is that you in the photo? What is your situation in the Philippines? Not many women interested in the Philippines, from my understanding. I've seen some, but they're usually just like not transitioning. What's that word I'm looking for? Whatever. They're going through the Philippines just a couple days, maximum a week or two, doing some surfing or something, or scuba diving, and then they leave for other countries. So not many long-term stayers in the Philippines, females. So maybe you can share your story if you like. Elite PC Tech says, agreed, it's 10 times easier to date in the Philippines than either in the US or Canada. It is. I'd even put that at probably 20 times easier. Maybe even more. The point is, it's just easier. So if that's what you guys want, the Philippines is the place to be. I would really highly recommend you do your homework, though. Please do not get into a relationship or something serious or whatever with the first woman you meet. It's just take your time, go easy, don't get forced or pressure into anything. Any sign of money, mentioning of money, just say goodbye. Don't try to, oh, maybe don't try to like, what's that word I'm looking for? Not justify it. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Don't make excuses for them is my point. Red flags, get out of there, bro. You out the door. Hey, Michael. Thank you. Look at that, 40% of our goal. You guys are killing it. I appreciate those super thanks. So if you guys are new to the stream, I did a goal here, $50, and I'll share not an embarrassing, but interesting, very interesting dating story. Which I haven't told anyone really. I don't think I've told anybody. Maybe like one person, not even. But it's a wild story, I promise. So But where are we at? Let me go ahead and read some more news. This is the news, right? That's what we're here for, not my personal life. Oh man, this is annoying. Why can't I play? Oh, today is the $1 trillion march or whatever. So they're gonna have a huge protest in the Philippines. The U.S. embassy has reminded everybody to stay clear of them. Please do not participate in these rallies. Do not show support to one thing or the other if you're not a citizen. Which I'm sure none of you guys are. Very unlikely. Some maybe one or two, but overall, please. Um, what? Look at this. A new scam, guys. Goddamn. Goddamn, goddamn, goddamn. All right, we're gonna read a new scam in the Philippines. And by new scam, I don't mean like for foreigners, but something you need to be aware of. Perhaps ex officials charged in 240 million peso trash scam. Whoa! When the mundane process of paying the trash collections allegedly becomes a mechanism for large-scale financial abuse, officials must answer for negligence that reportedly cost government millions of pesos. I knew there had to be something. You can't tell me in the Philippines all that trash is there and nobody's doing anything about it. A lot of times I walk through barangays and just like filth everywhere, and you're like, why? Who lives in this? Like, even if you're impoverished and you have nothing to do, at least you want to live in a decent environment, right? Anyway, the point is, it makes sense how there's corruption also in the trash pickup as well. So it makes perfect sense to me in my brain. So eight former Cebu officials, including a former city administrator and three private individuals, now face imminent arrest after the Ombudsman Visayas filed graft and whatever of public funds charges before the courts, the Philippine Anti-Graft Court. Yeah, the filing of the malversation, what the hell that is, of public funds and violation of the Anti-Graft and Corruption Practices Act. I don't have to read the law here, right? The point is, 8 people took some money in the whole trash situation, which is alarming for sure. Who was charged? We don't care who because we don't know them. Twin charges. The case involves two major charges raising the gravity, violation of public this and that. It's very legal right now. So case background is what we want to know. The alleged scheme dated back to February 17, 2021. The 8 accused are... I get these pop-ups, man. Leave me alone. The 8 accused are charged for grant unwanted. This case highlights breakdown. Okay, so the whole point is a bunch of people took money from the trash collection stuff when I should be going towards that, but it did not. And now my computer is frozen. Great. Let me see if I'm still live. I got this pop-up blocker that I guess popped up, blocked up too many pop-ups. So that's kind of alarming to know that 8 people involved. How many that we don't know about, right? You have to ask yourself, is just one barangay or like one city? Who else is involved? Yeah, it's a shame because people don't deserve that. They need the government to protect them, not to take the money that's supposed to go toward trash disposal and put it in their own pockets. But that's just greed. Everyday greed, right? People get greedy. They get greedy, they want more money, and then they end up hurting everyday regular people. So, 8 people in Cebu. I'm just going through some news feed to see what else I can share with you guys. But while I do that, feel free to ask your questions regarding anything you have about the Philippines, Thailand, other parts of Southeast Asia. I've been to pretty much everywhere. The only place I haven't been to is like, obviously not like Timor Leste and all that. I don't really care for that. But like from the typical, usual travel places, I just don't have any interest in Timor Leste because I don't know anything about it. And I hear it's expensive, and I'll save that for later in my life of travels. Right? Mm-hmm. It's me. Newport and Pasay are good middle ground as far a place as Manila is concerned. Excellent. The culture is much better in Asia, says Mark. There's good and bad everywhere. I'm going to get screwed, then I need to get something. USA gets shit. Yeah, that's a good point. The thing is, people have to remember there's a reason why a lot of people have left their home country to either visit, stay, travel, or like retire in the Philippines. Something pushed you away. And although life in the Philippines or any other parts of Asia can be challenging at times, whether it's like pollution, humidity, language, something major but obvious that the people have no control over, but yet it's affecting you, you have to remember, is it worse than what you left? You know? Is it like for me, I left because I didn't want the 9 to 5 life. For me personally, I had options and I took them. I wasn't married. I have no kids. I have no dependents. Privileged enough to have a Canadian passport, be a native English speaker. I know you sometimes might question that. My point is, it allowed me to gain income from just those privileges that were given to me. And I was unhappy in Canada, not because I didn't have a good job or friends or whatever, but I just didn't feel right giving like 9 hours of my life to some other company to get rich, you know? So I just wanted some more freedom and flexibility. That's why I came down here. So whatever you're leaving, whether it's a bad marriage, a bad breakup, divorce, cost of living, make sure you get something in return wherever you're going. Don't come anywhere where you have to downgrade your life, at least in my opinion. So what I upgraded from coming to Asia was my time. I gained a lot more flexibility, work-life balance. I was doing things for me. Yeah, YouTube's still a job. Yeah, YouTube's still my work. But right now, if my stomach hurts, I gotta take a shit, for example, I can end this live stream and say, bye guys, see you tomorrow. That's it. Could you do that at work? Maybe not. Maybe you have to be on a camera, like talking during a meeting, and I can't leave now. The boss is gonna hate me, or whatever, right? I cannot work today. I cannot work tomorrow. I cannot work for the next week if I wanted to. But it's my time, and I can control whichever way I want. I can work 3-4 hours straight in the morning if I want. I can work every hour, 15 minutes at a time if I want. I can go outside to a cafe and work if I want. I can go on the beach, technically, if I want. So the point is, that's what I exchanged, and that's what I wanted. And during the whole time I was there, I was dating, I was meeting women, I was going out to eat. So all this stuff is something I would not be able to do on my salary with my what I bring to the table in the West to the women. It would be just like a headache trying to even get into all that. So I'm experiencing things that I wouldn't necessarily get in Canada. So yeah, for me, it worked out great. I'm very happy. So if you guys are coming out here, just remember, although day to day can be annoying with like maybe waiting in line at a market, that's annoying. I know that. But is it worse than what you would have had back home, or is it better? In transit, thank you. Yes. Elite PC Tech, that's the word I was looking for. Transit. Ayo, this is earlier with the women in the Philippines, usually just in transit. Jojo guy, who's Jojo? If you don't get your story, it's okay. I love your content and always wanted to help. Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys have been, you know, it's funny. Somebody yesterday said, hey, man, coffee in the Philippines, 8 pesos. Buy your own coffee in the comment section. It's not about the coffee. You guys realize that, right? Maybe you don't. I'm sure you guys do, but a lot of people, if you're new to the channel, when I say buy me a coffee or whatever, it's not like literally going towards coffee. It's just a way of supporting a content creator, someone you think brings value, or you just want to donate, whatever word you want to use. You're helping that individual YouTuber or whatever to continue making the videos, or just like buy a coffee. So I'm like, do I have to explain to this guy that who's stupid enough to believe the $15 or $10 you guys send me, or $20, that's I'm gonna put toward, like, I'm buying a coffee with $20. You know what I mean? It's not about that. Maybe that $20 went to buy this coffee machine. You guys like this? By the way, I love this thing. If you guys can see it right here. $50, right? Not that much. $50. Now I make my own coffee at home. So it's not really technically about the coffee. It's about just supporting your YouTuber or content creator. So I thought that was funny that people think it's just actually for the coffee. But hey, you never know how old that guy is, or if he has any clue what I'm talking about. So. Wiser Resolution says, best dating I've ever had was in Korea. Yeah, but you, sir, are 26 years old. Yeah, you can probably date any country. It's fine. But most of us coming here are at least in our 30s, right? So it's a bit different. And at that point, it becomes more about like assets and what you have and what you can offer, more than just like infatuation, let's say, right? So realistically speaking, I mean, there's still opportunities, but not as much as when I was 26. When I was 26, I swear to God, there was a time in my life I thought I can date anyone, fucking anyone, bro. Fucking Kim, whoever is the sexiest woman celebrity, I thought I had a chance with. I had a full set of hair, was looking nice, young, and fit. So my point is, yeah, now I gotta accept the realities. Things are not the same anymore. I'm not a bad looking guy, but I can't be looking at like the same kind of people I was looking at when I was 26, right? So, and if I am, then I gotta remember I gotta pay one way or the other, right? Hey, wise wiser solution says just buy you a coffee. Cheers, man. Can't do super chats in Korea with my U.S. card. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Like those are what you guys. If you don't know, I'll tell you guys right now. There's a handful of people that have regularly bought me a coffee to the point where it sustained this channel basically up to now. Because at the start, for the first 6 months, there wasn't much money. It was a lot of work. I'm like, I'm gonna stop this. But there was so much positive feedback from people. I just felt guilty if I just stop Asia now and just continue with living abroad. So those people really pushed through every month. Their donations basically made the difference between me saying yes and no. And still to this day, $20 here, $30 there. By the end of the month, I'll have enough essentially with the YouTube ads to continue doing this. Now, if you guys don't, I'm gonna find a way. Like this. Don't ever do it because you feel like you have to. But if people feel they get enough value, then why not? Like it's like anything else. When you have a subscription to something, I watch soccer all the time, and I used to watch it on like this like bootleg. I could barely see who's playing, and it wasn't really whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? I can invest $15, to get in the zone or something a month, which brings me a lot of joy, and like watch people play in comfort, no ads, no nothing. So similar kind of thing. If you feel you get value, then you can support your content creator. Not just me, whoever. There's a lot of guys that put out great information. Maybe you're just really into dating, and there's some guys with that. Maybe you're so really into gossip or something, or just entertainment, I should say. Some guys are into that. So if you want to, it's always appreciated, is what I'm saying. But don't ever feel obliged to or obligated. I like you guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching, commenting, and just like hitting that like button, right? So all good. Live chat. Live chat. Hillbilly Pyro 75. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Hello. The best pop-up blocker is Unblock Origin Lite for Chrome or Unblock Origin for Firefox. Thank you. That's great information. Hillbilly said, nothing pushed me away. It was just time to explore life a little before I die. Hey, perfect, right? Explore away. And that's why it's important to remember that. So next time, not you, but whoever comes to the Philippines to explore, and they're like, oh, why is this boat not working? Now I'm stuck in the middle of the ocean or something. Just remember, you came here to explore, and now you're exploring a different type of situation. So you can apply that to everything. It's always this, like you can look at a half full or half empty type of glass, right? I can get mad about everything. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to get angry. You can go down the spiral of negativity. A lot of groups on Facebook in the Philippines are very negative, like very negative, So you don't want to get into that kind of mindset. Just step aside, step away. And even Asia now, if the news has become too much for you, take a break. Take a day or two off because it is a lot of negativity and it can affect you and your like mindset. Elite PC Tech says the goal is to have a lot of one's income in hard currency and all of one's expenses in soft currency. As soon as I can find a remote job that offers the same salary and benefits of my US job. But that's going to be different. Sometimes, I hope you do, but sometimes we have to sacrifice either a little bit, I think, here or there. It's understandable why somebody would. I sacrificed my salary, of course, but what I gave up and what I gained was definitely worth it for me. I was at a place that a lot of people wish they were in. The industry I was in was like fun. I was working for like Netflix essentially, right? So, and on production, on sets of TV shows and movies. Like it wasn't just like a computer job. I had an opportunity to go to like these places if I wanted to. There was space for growth. I could have been like whatever. But the point is, I was still living someone else's dream, right? I wasn't really doing my own thing. Like So what do you want out of life and try to get it. If I had a kid right now, or if I was to talk to my younger self, my advice to them would be to just do like work for yourself, not for someone else. And whatever that means to you, try to make it happen. If the guy wants to have his own, let's say, YouTube channel and be successful, then dedicate 2 or 3 hours a day to learn and focus and see how you can be the best YouTuber that you can be, for example, right? Because a lot of kids these days, they want to be like content creators, but what they don't do, am I crying or just lotion like wearing off? But they but they give up within the first like over 90% of people give up too soon, right? Some things is understandable. Some things it is. Like for example, right now, I can't go kick a ball and think I'm going to be a professional soccer player at 40 years old with two broken knees, basically, right? There's obviously some limits. But if you're younger, just try to focus on something that you want and don't try to make other people rich. Just focus on things that are good for you personally. Just don't work for someone else. Of course, at the beginning, you can, right? You got to get a fast food job or something, raise a little funds or whatnot, but eventually try to move away from like living other people's dreams, right? Okay. Well, how long are we doing? How long is this going on for? I can't even tell. When did we start? 8:30? An hour? Okay, we'll do a little bit longer. Why don't you stay just a little bit longer? I can't think for shit. Um. Oh yeah. Something many. Okay. I'm looking at my usual news stuff and see if I can find something to talk about with you guys. Oh, yeah, just I mentioned earlier the $1 trillion march is happening today, so mhm. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it's still kind of early morning. News starts coming out around lunchtime or after. People gotta, you know, experience it, then upload it and all that. So nothing. Fire, okay, rice in the Philippines. Man, the algorithm is insane. You know, the other day, like I always knew that the microphone is listening to my conversation, and I know for sure, like the video too, somebody's collecting it easily. It's not even a question in my mind. But something that kind of was weird. At the time, I was looking. It was something very specific. I'm trying to remember what it was. I was looking for something. What was it that I wanted to buy? This is important because it was very specific, and I hadn't spoken about it to. I think it was a bread maker or something like very specific, and I never ever searched for that online. Never once did I look at what I was talking about with someone in here. But immediately within 5 minutes after in my conversation, I saw it as an ad on Facebook, which is normal to see ads on Facebook. And like if I was doing like a Shopee thing and I'm on Shopee and I'm looking for like let's say a coffee maker, I would see coffee maker on Facebook, which is all already fucked up to be honest. Like why are the two apps communicating with each other about something that I was looking at? So whatever. But this was just crazy because I never once searched this on any platform. So where do they get that information if not through my microphone and the audio and of course AI converting it to script and then that script being into the ad and then showing me that. So that's pretty messed up. Like I'm not a parent. I mean, I am kind of paranoid, but that's just weird. No, how dare they? Where do you get the gall to like take my conversation, see which items you can sell to me based on my conversation, and then show it to me without me ever searching it? Isn't that weird? Am I the only one that thinks that's not right? I'm sure I agreed to it at some of whatever app I downloaded, right? To who the hell's going to read all that? But like, it's pretty crazy how they have the right to do that, and the government or whoever's in charge of this has, yeah, go ahead and collect their data. We'll sell them some shit. So, yeah, that's my life story. But I need someone to confirm I'm not crazy, please, or tell me I'm crazy. Something. Um, Samo says you look tired. I'm always tired, bro. Like also because the camera is not good, so you get to see the real me. The other camera I have has like whatever filter they got built in there. I don't use filters, but the camera itself is built in there. I woke up at 5 a.m. I went to bed at 1:30, so like 3 hours of sleep. Don't ask me why. But I am tired. I do look tired. I've always had problems with like the bags under my eyes since I was like younger. They ain't going nowhere. But you know what? I am in Thailand. Probably cost me less than $300 to get this fixed down here. They got amazing medical, but I'm not doing it. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe when I'm later. What's next? Do you miss home cooked meals? Excellent question. Well, sir, depends on who's home. Unfortunately, Canada doesn't really have a cuisine, so um, yeah, I should start wearing shorts so I can get up, right? Um, so not really. And my Middle Eastern dishes I find whenever I travel. Recently, I just came back from Central Asia, so I had some amazing lamb and a proper rice. No offense to Asians. Southeast Asia, they do steamed rice. That's not rice to me. That's not rice. If it's not basmati rice, long grain rice with like actual seasoning, I don't consider that rice. That's just like starch, you know. So no, I don't really miss homemade meals because I've had often quite even here. Some of the best Indian food in Bangkok is some place called Al Rahman. Whoa, bomb, bomb Indian food. How does the income coming from YouTube affect your CCP, OAS, and RRSP? Doesn't really affect it much because I claim my income as a contractor at the end of the year, as a self-employed individual. So I just contribute to all those anyways. Maybe not to the same levels as if I were working for a company, but yeah, I still do it. Oh, Samos has an excellent question. What are your thoughts on China? At least the water is drinkable. Thoughts on being an expat there? I don't I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure maybe major city water systems drinkable. I wouldn't recommend it. I've never been there. I was gonna go actually next week, but I did not follow through with that. China is a place that is for me. I have a mixed feelings towards. A lot of things about China I have no option but to respect. How they went about it, that's something I don't respect, but you cannot deny the success they've had over the past 70, 80 years. Absolutely phenomenal what they were able to do with the poverty to middle income to now some of the richest people there, right? So that is something you cannot look down upon. Of course, there are human rights violations, of course, towards the Uyghurs or any other group that's not Chinese. Their whole arm of interfering with things and foreign affairs and all that shit. But democracy or whatever hasn't been that successful for many people either. So I still rather live in democracy, of course. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an idiot. But as a whole, as a government, as a country, they were able to do a lot that I just cannot deny but to respect. But as far as tourism, it's too big. The place is massive. China is way too big. And I think you can find whatever you're looking for in China. And cost of living isn't that bad. They're pretty cheap if you want to get outside Beijing, Shanghai, or Guangzhou, those places, right? But my feelings are mixed on a lot of different topics. I love to go to China, but I think I need like 6 months to like actually see what's going on over there. Um, their beauty standards and all that for dating is beyond ridiculous. Like there's this thing, like a sheet of paper. If a woman's body is wider than a sheet of paper, she's considered fat. If she's over 30, she's considered old. So this puts a lot of pressure on anyone trying to start a family or whatever in Asia, which leads to a whole other problem like social economics that you see in Japan right now with the elder community. Nobody's having babies. There's just too much to get into. But like, I don't really drink water anywhere, even unless I'm in Canada. I don't trust drinking water from the tap. But buying water in Southeast Asia is extremely affordable. So why even bother? Like, what is this? How big is this? I think it's a 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 liter water. 6 of these is less than $2. 6 for less than $2 delivered to my front door from 7-Eleven. So if I can't afford that, I don't have no business being here. So my point is, and that's just me buying water from a convenience store. Imagine if I actually dedicated myself buying something from like a provider, or like buy a filtering system, or get like those big jugs. It'd be much cheaper. My point is, I'm lazy. I want convenience, and even then, I can buy 6 of these delivered to my door for less than $2, like 150 almost. So Elite PC Tech says those apps communicate over third-party cookies and browser app fingerprinting. Yeah, but I get all that. If you mean communicate, like I just think it's messed up how they pick up my audio from a conversation I had with somebody in my room. It's not. I was not even like on my phone. So that's the part that's getting to me, right? So it's messed up. It's just so messed up. Elite PC Tech, you're not crazy, and the apps do communicate. However, not the method you hypothesize. You'd be surprised what a mix of cookies and app browser fingerprinting. Yeah, like I said, I understand that maybe through my history, something I looked up, or even interested in by pausing 2 seconds on a picture of a freaking bread maker or whatever I was talking about. But this was just simply a conversation, had nothing to do with the phone. Yes, jasmine seasoning is delicious. 7-Eleven delivery, how would that work? Well, I'm in Thailand. I don't know how uh, the Philippines. I don't think it does that. But in Thailand, yes, 7-Eleven delivers. You have to download 7-Eleven app, and it just chooses the nearest place to you and delivers. But one thing else I want to show you guys that it's incredible. The amount of food in Thailand that you can get is absolutely wild, and just a variety. Oh yeah, one more thing I like about Thailand, like I don't have to leave the house essentially. Maybe I should, I want to, but everything is so convenient. Like right now, if I go to March, this is on Grab, and one still considered one of the most expensive apps. So Grab will give you all of these different supermarkets. But if I want just like water, for example, oh, that's exactly what we're talking about. So imagine 12 bottles of water here, because you get 2 of these. So 2 for 99 baht, 1 baht being about 32 pesos, $1 being about 32 baht. So for $3, essentially, I can get 12 of these, 1.5 liter, which will last you at least 2 weeks, essentially, and delivered. Because usually, if you add this to cart, let's see. One thing that is wild about offers, yeah. One thing I love about Thailand, so this one doesn't give it to me, but because it's just water, right? And it's already on discount. But the discounts that you get on in Thailand, I have not seen in any other country, because there's so much competition between restaurants and supermarkets and all that. You always get either free delivery, which hey oh, you just save yourself like half the price. Because if this is 99 and delivery is 30 baht, you're already saving 30% on just delivery alone, right? And I was like, if I connect my credit card, they'll just leave it downstairs on the table. I don't have to engage with the person or worry about tipping them or nothing like that. I could tip them online if I want to, for example. So my point is, everything is made convenient, and that's one of my favorite things about Thailand. I just cannot beat convenience on any level, like from everything, internet, everything. I can't go on about how convenient Thailand is. So that's one thing I appreciate about here more than anything else. Convenience is through the roof. Multiple options when it comes to accommodations, transportation, food, internet providers. What else can I talk about? What else is there in your life? Nothing, right? If you have those covered, what else do you need? Anyhow, good stuff down here. Grab is awesome. Someone said, do you ever think about settling down, marriage, kids? If so, when and where? Yeah, I think about that stuff. But luckily for men, we don't have that biological clock. Although I'd like to at least play with my kid if I have one. So probably soon. I'll keep you guys posted on that, for sure. Elite PC Tech said you can trust water in most in the U.S. and all Canada and Singapore. Certainly not in the Philippines. Yeah, I'm gonna say something to you guys that may be a little bit offensive to Filipinos, to be honest. But I'm only saying this for my own safety and my own peace of mind. I don't even wash fruits or vegetables with tap water in the Philippines. I use bottled water even for that. So that just shows you the severity of some of the filtration systems. I don't know nothing about it, but my point is I know I'm not supposed to drink it, and I don't want to get sick. And I'm not like really a pussy or a paranoid person. I don't care about that, but like it's just for peace of mind. Like I said, water is so cheap in the Philippines, even cheaper than here. I got a 20-liter gal, whatever, for 50 baht, 20 baht, 50 pesos, I should say. So water is cheap, so why would I risk trying to get sick and ending up in a hospital somewhere if my body can't tolerate whatever's in that sink, whatever's in that tap water? So fruits and vegetables, I got a big bowl, I pour some water, wash it in there, and that's it. I might change my mind if I stay there permanently, but at least for when I visit 1 month, 2 months at a time, that's what I do. Grab is awesome. It is. Speaking of that, my hands are. Let's put some cream on here. I said this the other day on my regular video, but I'll say it again. I visited the hospital here in Thailand because I had some problem with my hands. It's still kind of there, but it's going away. I guess now they've determined it's like just simple eczema, which I never had in my life. I'm like, what the fuck? But they wanted to rule out some of the most serious stuff like HIV and syphilis. I'm like, huh? Syphilis? What did you say to me? So, doctor consultation, blood work, skin analysis, and 4 separate medicine, 2 creams and 2 sets of pills for a week. All that, $24. $24, bro. I can't even park my car at a hospital for $24 in Canada. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm exaggerating, but $20 at least to park, $20 Canadian to park my car at the hospital. Over here, plus in Canada, blood work would take like a week. So you gotta wait a week to know if you have AIDS or HIV or whatever. It's ridiculous. So luck, obviously I don't have anything, but like even that was scary, right? Just to wait around for an hour, which they just simply after an hour they brought back the results of everything. And I'm not like one of those people that gets worried about needles, but like anybody else is uncomfortable. But this lady, bless her soul, man, the nurse, I didn't feel anything, not a single thing. I'm like, how'd she do that? How'd she take blood out of my skin without feeling absolutely nothing on my arm? I'm like, hey, oh. But yeah, that's my hospital story and costs of doctor's visits. I think I have the receipt somewhere. The consultation was 50 baht, $1, bro. No, $1.50. But that's, I think, because of government hospital. It's somewhere here. Anyways, I'm gonna end this stream soon. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have been wonderful for asking questions. I do appreciate that very much so, you know. So I appreciate that. And I want to thank Colleen and Michael as well for buying me the super thanks. Unfortunately, we did not reach our goal. Perhaps later on I can share a story if people are interested. That's it. I'm going to try to... Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I was supposed to record this. Alex, you fool. You fool of a man, Alex. You're a dum-dum. I was supposed to record this live stream so I could use the video and upload it to a regular video, but I done forgot to record. So there's an hour wasted. Maybe not wasted, but an additional hour of content that I don't have is my point. Worst day ever. Worst day of my life. And my ass is sore now. Tisk, tisk, tisk. You idiot. You fool of a man did not record your own live stream. It was nice to catch up live, bro. Yeah, thank you, Jimbo. Appreciate it. Salamat. Yeah. Salamat po and kapun kap and shukriya and tashakur and how do I say thank you in these languages? It's too many. I'm the worst with languages. I can't remember nothing. Yeah. Anyways, my brain just died there for a second. I'll see you guys next time for a regular video tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Bye. How do I end this?